Because I was in spandex and it was snowing.
We used to have these huge, these things that were swords and weapons. The cog, were they cogs?
They were the cogs.
On my season.
Cogs.
They were
It was
just fat enough that when it was cold outside, you came up and you smacked the stunt guy right on his,
But rear end.
Because they're wearing the helmets. It was the funniest thing to listen to them scream in those little helmets, man. That was my favorite part. Actually, that's my favorite part about the show. When I was a stunt man, I'd smack those guys. You got one too every once in a while, but then when you're the actor, they don't touch you as much.
Well, you're not in the spandex. You're not in the cog suits. Being in the cog suit was literally putting your butt out there to get smacked. That's it. Just kind of a welcome call for getting smacked with the paddles.
Smack that up on the
Those were not my favorite times.
This is a question for Dan. And Forever Red, I know at the last Morphicon you said that that last scene was just like whatever you guys wanted to say, but what made you come up with that line? Your last line.
That was my Q-Rex would eat his...
Dragon swords for lunch!
That was actually a line that was given to me. I remember now that I was trying to figure out how to perform that. How do you perform something like that? How do you deliver a line like that? So I decided to pretend that I was the Q-Rex. Just break character and get goofy, and it was something I was trying. I don't think it worked, but people liked it, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Because it was so unlike Eric.
Because it was so unlike Eric. And that was when we came back for Wild Force. We started playing around a little bit more, me and Jason, and breaking character a little bit more. So. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Yeah. It was a little bit weird, but I was trying stuff. I think that's important to do, not be afraid to try stuff. You don't realize it's going to make it into the show cut sometimes, but it does. Yeah.
Yes. About the helmets, how breathable are those?
Okay. They're not very breathable. They're made of fiberglass. They cost $3,000.
That's for the hero helmets. Now that has two types: the hero and the stunt. Do you want to go in there?
Oh, I'll finish my thing and then you add it. You jump in.
Okay, go ahead.
So anyway, jump in.
Oh,
Never mind.
You missed.
Now let me just say this real quick,
Yeah, finish.
because Ruben has a lot of experience working in those helmets too, and then so you don't want to mess those things up. So you had to. That was why they were very careful about who they let do the stunts in those things. You land on those things and crack them open. It costs a lot of money to repair. Now there was also a division of people that did the live appearances, and those helmets were made by the same company. Yeah, I think so.
yeah.
And I mean, you're not jumping in so well anymore.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So, no, it's all right. Go back to that real quick. So anyway, these helmets.
Yes, they're expensive. They're stunt and there's.
Yeah, I did an appearance, and we had some NASA astronauts there, and I think it was it John Glenn? Not John Glenn.
Neil Armstrong? What?
No, I think it was John Glenn that I was talking to, and a couple of NASA guys were there, and they put the helmets on and said, "Hey, this is kind of dangerous, man. You're not supposed to be hanging out in these things. It cuts your oxygen supply."
Yeah.
And when I would go out and work in the day, we'd take those helmets off at the end of the day, and you'd just pass out because you weren't getting a lot of oxygen throughout the day wearing those. And then that's when Disney came in and said, "Okay, well, the rule is you can only appear in those for 20 minutes at a time." So I had to hand it to Disney for taking care of us and getting our back on that, because you can't breathe very well in them. That was the live appearance helmets, where
Now on the show they had stunt helmets for the non-close-up shots, and those they made them a little bit easier to see because we had to do a lot of action and fighting. But then they had and they were a little bit cheaper, so if you cracked them. But then they had the hero helmets that had to you can't see the face whatsoever because they're looking right into them. And I think, the actors probably had to put on the hero helmets every now and then. I'm not sure, but...
I don't do that, dude.
No. But anyways, that is... You can't see even, like, your hands right here. You can't see it. So everything is mimed. You have to... It's like doing choreography with your eyes closed.
Oh, you didn't see me when I was like that?
I didn't
inside the helmet.
No, I couldn't. I had no idea. That's why I'm just like nodding. That's right.
Now they had the live show helmets too, which were really thin plastic, and the screens were made of mesh. You could really breathe well in those. And for a while when they were doing the live show tours.
But the live show performers, the stunt guys, and even on the show, these guys are some of the best, most conditioned stunt people in the world because they're doing all this action with little oxygen, blind, and it still looks pretty badass.
Well, thank you, man.
You and the other 20, 30 Japanese guys. But, I mean, and I used to, there was a show, Kamen Rider Dragon, I don't know if you guys did that. I did some stunts on that, and it was almost like just to test myself. Even though I hate the stuff, but I love going back just to see if I still have it, because if it's like the ultimate test of a stuntman is if you can do a fight scene with a mask on and get your choreography done.
Those stunt guys were the hardest working action team in Los Angeles when it was being shot in Los Angeles. They shot good fight action and they worked hardcore every day. Every day. I mean, you don't think about it, but every single day they're trying to pump out, sometimes we'd be working on 2 or 3 episodes at a time. There is not a show in Los Angeles that makes action as good, not even when martial law was around. Because martial law had a lot of gags on it that after a while kind of worn down. But Power Ranger action, both of us were on martial law.
But they didn't have helmets, so they
didn't have helmets. But the action on Rangers was always new. It was always sort of a little bit more. They were trying to do more, trying to be a little bit more exciting. It was always different.
Somebody asked in the Avatar panel, they were like, "Wow, that's a lot of stunts and Avatar and stuff." I like compared to Power Rangers, dude. That doesn't compare at all.
That's where the cool thing about Power Rangers too is that they were hiring guys like me and him. We got a chance to get hired and cut our teeth in stunts that way, in action, and even acting, and you worked hard. You worked hard, and it was good. It's good for them.
And all these stunt guys who did work on Power Rangers are the top stunt guys in Hollywood now.
That's true.
There's so many.
The guy right here in the burgundy reddish shirt.
Do you guys have any practical joke stories from
Oh, come on.
We didn't do a lot of that, man.
Yeah. Come on.
My favorite was smacking the stunt guys in the ass with the big broadsword.
And you got me a couple times good, I remember.
Come on. Come on, Jason.
No, I think the only one that they couldn't show on TV is when the Mistletoe Christmas episode, where I took my pants down and she was supposed to kiss her on the mistletoe. I'm like, oh, look, a mistletoe. And I just took my pants, I had underwear on, but I took my pants down. She's like, what? Is that not what you do under a mistletoe? No. And,
I heard something about a hole in some spandex and what's his name? Steve Cardenas falling asleep one time.
I put my butt in his face. I did do that.
He had to do.
I woke him up like that. Woke up. You didn't do that. Yeah, you did do it. He was mad. Because my butt was in his face. This is terrible. It's terrible. What question is this, huh? What kind of panel is this? Okay, Dave's quiet. Good. Yes?
Aww.
In the show Power Rangers on Ice, who are the skaters?
You think you got a boner award? Really? Come on up. You got a boner award. Yeah! Woo! Yes. Thank you, buddy.
I don't think you can answer that.
I have no idea. Whoever they hired that month.
That month, right?
Yeah, right here.
We've heard like the stunt guy and the actors. I want to hear a little from the writer. What was it like writing for the series?
Well, it was interesting because we were working with Japanese animation that not animation, but Japanese footage that we were essentially ignoring the original story, so having to reinvent that. So the challenge was to try to come up with a story that was workable, that would incorporate and use all that footage in a way that would make sense when they got on the set and had to actually make it work. It's easier for us. We just write words. They actually had to make it work.
You gave me your last name. That's the problem.
I didn't do that, actually. Ellen did. It was as a joke on me, but it was
stuck now. Years later, 20,000 years later.
So, but it was fun. We were on a heavy deadline. We knew what we wanted to do, and we had to produce so many episodes in the first season. I mean, literally, we had to do 45 episodes like now. And because we were stripped, it was called a strip show. We were on Monday through Friday, so we had to have 5 new episodes a week. And so it was just a grind, just getting.
We did a strip show,
and then I would sit on the set. I would sit on the set some days all day and rewrite so that they would have the dialogue would work. So it was fun. I know. I just talked, you know.